Meanwhile, an expert on West Africa said on Thursday, August the 10th, that the mobilization of a standby force for possible use against the military junta in Niger was causing an escalation of tensions in the region. Speaking to Reuters from California, Director of Strategic Stabilization Advisors, Aneliese warned the move was a significant next step. Security analysts say a regional force could take weeks or longer to assemble.
There's still a lot of unknowns at this point. We are not sure if this ECOWAS standby force will actually be activated or if it will require more approvals from the African Union to do so, or what this will mean from other members of the regional bloc who may not be as willing to submit to the use of force to threaten this coup in the same way that other leaders, clearly the leading voices such as Cote d'Ivoire's President Ouattara, President Benin, President Talon, and obviously President Tinubu in Nigeria. So there's still a lot of unknowns, but this is a significant next step and certainly an escalation of tensions, at least between the regional bloc and the junta bloc that seems to be forming right now, between Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger specifically. Whatever Burkina Faso and Mali have openly committed to with their threats of also stepping in on behalf of the putschists if another regional force were to invade Niger. Obviously, there is the possibility that this does happen. That said, Mali and Burkina Faso are still having to deal with pretty severe terrorist insurgencies inside their border that keep their security forces pretty occupied around the clock. So I don't really see them being able to just deploy one contingent, let alone more than that, to Niger right now. They can't spare that. In fact, to the point where whenever there is a deployment for a clearing operation in Mali and Burkina Faso, respectively, you do see an absence of security in another corner of those countries, and the jihadist groups know how to exploit that. So both of those countries are kind of weak horses to bet on in terms of coming to the putschists' side of maintaining their position. The real thing, and I think this is really getting increasingly concerning by the day, is that the putschists have managed to change the narrative around the coup to not being about, certain leaders wanting to usurp power, but rather being about this is for the people and this is to resume Nigerian autonomy and throw off the yoke of the former colonial powers in the version of France. We've seen a lot of civil society support for this, and there's always been a very vocal anti-French civil society in Niger, particularly in Niamey, and particularly among certain civil society groups that are very loud right now. But this one seems to be getting a resounding, cohesive, kind of anti-Western position. Whatever the response from civil society is in Niger right now in favor of this coup was done by individuals in the security forces who took things into their own hands and decided to go against the grain and violate what the people of Niger ostensibly put into action when they voted democratically to have Bazoum as their president. So no matter what, you have to look at this for what it is, which sure, it might be gaining popularity today, but it really is a violation not only of the constitutional order, but of the will of the people of Niger. And that is incredibly important. And from Ouattara's standpoint, as well as many of the other democratically elected presidents in this region, that's a huge threat towards them. If they don't actually admonish what just took place very openly, then it gives rise to the ability for other people within senior government and security elite positions in their countries to potentially see this as yet another pathway towards governance. And that's not something we should ever tolerate, whether we support the idea of democracy or not.